Welcome everybody to the live. Today we're going to be talking about CO2 lasers for beginners, along with ways to make money with them. So if you've ever thought about getting a CO2 laser, you've ever thought about making a little extra money, maybe a side hustle, doesn't have to be a full business, maybe just want another hobby. We're going to dive into my suggestions for what I consider good beginner lasers. So let's dive into it. The main thing that you need to understand when getting a laser or when looking at a laser is going to be the size of the laser, or the size of the area rather, that you're going to be putting the laser in. So if you have a one-car garage, like what I have, that I've kind of converted into a shop, I have a good amount of space to put a good size laser in it. But some of you guys might have like a spare bedroom, and you don't have the space to put a giant CO2 laser with the proper air assist, or with the water chiller and everything else. So welcome everybody that's just joining. We're talking about CO2 lasers for beginners and kind of how you can make some money doing that, if you're into making money, whether it's a side hustle or you're trying to turn it into a business or anything. So once you know kind of the idea space that you're going to be working out of, then you can really start looking at the different types of lasers. So the most common lasers that you're probably going to be looking at is a fiber laser or a CO2 laser. Actually, I take that back, diode laser. I really don't get into diode lasers, so that's kind of why I'm just sticking to CO2 lasers, but I do want to throw in fiber lasers because that's something that a lot of people, I think, are interested in, especially when you're thinking about engraving on metal. So just know that if you're not familiar with the two different types of lasers between the CO2 laser and a fiber laser, your CO2 laser, it can mark on metal. If you use like a marking spray, you can remove the coating on something. So if you buy, say, like a tumbler that has powder coating, then you can take the powder coating off. So just know, it kind of goes hand in hand. You got to know the size that or the space that you're going to be working in, but you also need to know the application of what you're trying to make. If you're just thinking about like leather, wood, engraving on tumblers, acrylic, you're going to be fine with a CO2 laser. But as soon as you start talking about metal and engraving on or etching the metal, you're one to look at the CO2 laser. So just keep that in mind. So the next thing is your wattage. So once you kind of have an idea of what you're wanting to make, you have all sorts of wattages for CO2 lasers. Me personally, I wouldn't go less than a 60 watt. If I could do it all over again, I would have gone with a 80 or probably even 100 watt as a beginner, because the 60 watt, I don't know if this is across the board, but for OM Tech, the 60 watt laser tube doesn't last as long, and that might be the case with all of them. So just know, if you're looking at OM Tech, the 60 watt laser tubes don't last as long. But the other thing is, if you just go ahead and spend the extra money and get for the 100 watt, then you don't have to use as high a percentage for I'm trying to how to say this, like, it doesn't take, say, 80% power to cut through a certain thickness, as if you were to have a 60 watt, you're gonna have to bump up that percentage. So just know that you can use a less percentage of your overall wattage if you start higher. I mean, it makes sense, right? I hope so. So that's kind of the overall part of, you know, the CO2 laser. You know, your wattage. What are you wanting to cut? What space do you have to be able to operate? So once you figured out that, really comes down to your budget and what you want to get out of it. You can get an OM-Tech laser, and I promise you, if the thing breaks down, you probably should at least have some sort of idea of how to work on it. They are great lasers for the budget-friendly side of it. You know, now the tech side of it, you're probably not going to get that much tech support without paying for it later down the road. So just know that OM-Tech, if you're not tech savvy, mechanically inclined, it's probably not the best laser for you. And you're going to see throughout this whole live that I'm not going to sell you on one machine. Like, that's just crazy. And if anybody sells you on one machine, one brand, one type, to me that's holding you back. Because just because the OM-Tech 60 watt laser is what I have, and to me it's a great beginner laser, it might not be a good beginner laser for you, because you might need a machine that has better technical support. You might need a machine like I believe Thunder Laser has their machines with built-in air assist, built-in chillers. Like, it's all one unit, so it's all together, which I think is phenomenal. Unfortunately for me, the price was way out of my price range at the time that I bought the laser. So just know that each company will sell you everything that you need, but you might be getting 3 or 4 different pieces to get it. You might be getting one giant machine that has everything together and paying a premium for that. The other thing is, like the OM-Tech laser, even though it costs less, I had to upgrade the air assist because it's like a puff of air. It wasn't going to do anything for me. The quote-unquote water chiller that they give you is a plastic bucket with like a fish pump. So you're gonna off the bat have to upgrade all of that. So just because they sell it as, hey, you know, we're including all of this, just know that with OM-Tech, yeah, you're gonna have to spend some money, you know, to get some better equipment. What is up, Cactus? How are you? So now, where was I? Yeah, so OM-Tech, like I said, you know, I've had it for 4 years. It's a great machine, but I'm not going to tell you that you have to get that machine because it worked for me. It may not work for you. You know, you got to know what wattage you want, the space that you can use or use it in, and your budget. So what's cool is some of these companies will do financing if that's the route that you're wanting to go, which I'm not against that at all. So that's got to be you personally. The other thing that you got to understand is, once you get your laser, guess what you get to do? You get to set it up. So just know that if the company that you're going with does not offer some sort of setup, or at least help walk you through it, you could be on your own. The cool thing is, you know, there's plenty of people out there Facebook groups, forums, you know, all sorts of stuff, resources for helping you get your laser set up. So yeah, it's intimidating. And here's the thing, I've dealt with machines and other types of machines. So, but even me, like having an understanding of, okay, this is what I need to do to set it up. Like you still, you know, you're like, okay, well, what do I need? Let's see here. New Age, how's it going? The hat press behind me is just a cheap Amazon hat press. It's the Vivor hat press. So it's a very cheap hat press, nothing fancy, but if you adjust it right, it's a good one. It'll get the job done for light orders. I wouldn't trust it for, you know, doing 100 hats or anything at once. You might want to upgrade it. Yeah, I haven't really got into the hats too much. I'm just now kind of getting into it. So again, like kind of like the lasers and everything, you got to modify it, because for instance, like this hat, the Richardson 112, when you put it on the press, if you have any type of void, it's going to mess up the hat. So you kind of have to modify it to build that up. So New Age, no, I don't tool any leather. I really didn't get into tooling leather. I did a lot of hand stitching, but didn't get into any of the tooling. So but all right, so back to the lasers and everything. You know, different brands. Once you're familiar with the power, and you know the thickness or the type of material that you're going to be cutting, you can kind of dial it down and really dissect what each company is going to offer. Like I said, you know, any type of tech support. There's companies out there that they'll jump on a video chat and help you out. So that's kind of cool. So there's a lot to kind of set up and make sure that you have everything in place. You know, make sure you have the computer that you need. If you do need a better air assist, getting the right air compressor or the right chiller connected to your laser so that you can get the most out of it, you know. And not just that, if you can't cool your laser tube and you don't get the right chiller, then you could potentially shorten the life of your laser tube. So some things to think about right there. So what projects are you thinking about getting into? Like I said, the 60-watt laser, you can do wood, you can do acrylic, you can do leather, you can get the coating off of tumblers. So just know that just because it can do all those things, you might want to do a 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch wood, and then the next guy might want something completely different, and that's where you go back to the wattage. So you want to know what projects are you thinking about doing, and then if you're wanting to do large signs, most of the bigger CO2 lasers are going to offer a pass-through, and a pass-through, all that is a door that opens up on both sides and lets you pass through a piece of material. So like for instance, mine's a 28 by 20 laser, but you can open up those doors and theoretically you could laser and cut whatever length. So how do I feel about the Ontech Polar? I just bought one, looking to do hats too. No, actually, one of my first videos that I did a couple years ago on some of the beginner lasers is is I did kind of mention the uh, the OM Tech Polar, because I know everybody that looks at lasers, or even people that don't, have heard of Glowforge. Like, Glowforge has done such a phenomenal job with marketing that I feel they can put whatever price that they want on their lasers. And to me, the Polar, even though it doesn't have the marketing behind it like what Glowforge did, let's see here. So, like, right off of OM Tech's website, $2,600, and I think a Glowforge is somewhere around like 6,000 or 7,000. You know, to each their own on that. That's not what I would go with on, you know, for a Glowforge. There's so many more machines that you can get for the price. So yeah, $2,600, $2,700 with light burn. Let's see. It says it has a built-in water chiller, which is freaking awesome. It's a 50-watt laser. So yeah, man, I mean, if you're doing leather hats, you know, thinner material, shoot, yeah. I don't think you can go wrong with that one. You've got everything in it that you need. Let's see. You know, these machines aren't typically as fast as some of the bigger ones, but I mean, that's okay. It's really not a bad machine, to be honest with you. On paper, you know, I can't say I've used one by any means, but in comparison, it has a built-in camera. The cool thing is, from what it looks like, is you can just plug it in, set up light burn on your computer, and you're good to go. Which is really nice, because once you start getting into larger lasers, you get to look at maintenance on your mirrors, on your lenses, and everything as far as aligning. So if it ever is out of alignment, you get to mess with that. Maybe the Polar has something like that, but I don't think so. Maybe just the lens is really all that you have to worry about, other than, like, you know, keeping the tracks clean and whatnot. So, but no, I mean, OM Tech's not bad. Like I said, you know, it just maybe their tech support's not as great as some other ones. Like this one, their warranties 2 years on the machine, 1 year on the tube. 6-month warranty. Oh, actually 6-month warranty on that one, because it's between a 40 and 60 watt. So yeah, I mean, they offer some peace of mind, you know, that you're getting a warranty. But let's see, like here I'm looking at email our tech support team and we'll get back within 24 hours. That's all it says. Like, it doesn't give you much. They have a virtual technical support session for $50. $50. And what will it buy you? It will buy you 45 minutes. So like $1 a minute. So if you get an OM Tech and you need tech support, make sure you have everything laid out before you call them, so that you can get as much out of that 45 minutes. And other companies may offer stuff like this, but you know, I would hope some of the ones, actually I've heard of, like Eon Laser. you can just get on and have a video chat. So, which is kind of cool. But they may charge also. But I know their tech support is US based. From my understanding, it's like they disassemble them and reassemble them or assemble them here in the States. Maybe someone can tell me for sure on that in the comments. But yeah, and people that are wanting to make money off of this stuff, like when I bought the CO2 laser that I have, we got it in November and immediately started making. They sold to the point where I didn't want to see another Christmas ornament the rest of my life, or at least make one rather. So capitalize on holidays, Christmas, Easter, Halloween was a big one. People like decor for Halloween. The stuff that you can capitalize on throughout the year. Excuse me. When making stuff. So, wedding season. Don't think about just seasons and holidays. Think about what happens during certain times of the year. So, like spring and summertime, weddings, make gifts, or groomsmen, whatever they're called. I should know. I'm freaking married. But all the gifts you can think of, for events throughout the year. Another one is back to school, not necessarily gifts, but there's plenty of people out there that'll do pencils, and I'm going to do a video on that hopefully here in the next couple weeks on my YouTube channel, as far as setting up the jig and how to engrave on pencils. You wouldn't think that would be something that people would buy, but that's not something that you really should think about. Well, I wouldn't buy that, and so I'm not going to make it. Well, if you're thinking that way, then I can tell you right now, you're probably going to have a hard time selling things because you're too busy thinking about what you're willing to buy and not what you can make to serve and help others. Other people may just want it because it has a heartfelt message on the pencil, and at the beginning of the year, if it's anything like me in school, I hated it, and maybe a nice message on a pencil would be enough for someone to have a better day. I don't know. That's what marketing's for. How do you market it? You can tell them, hey, suck it up and do better on the pencil, or you can tell them, hey, you're doing great. Keep up the good work. You can put all sorts of messages on a pencil. I'm not responsible for the wording that comes out of this pencil. Stupid crap. Crazy people will buy. Crazy what people will buy. Yes, it is crazy what people will buy. Another one, Mother's Day. Mother's Day. Make stuff for Mother's Day. Make stuff for Father's Day. I want to say on average, though, people spend more money on Mother's Day than Father's Day. Which, doesn't matter to me. This year I engraved stuff on ammo cans for Father's Day. I kind of skipped Mother's Day because kind of took a break from doing the laser stuff. Really, my goal is to teach you guys and kind of, educate who's willing to listen. Not that I know everything. I definitely don't know everything. I just know enough to you'll get me in trouble. So, but there's a lot of potential in different holidays. Maybe you make something for birthdays that could be personalized. People, that's it right there. Personalization. Whatever you do, try to incorporate something that's personalized. If you're going that route. Now, if you're lucky enough to get a product that you're just making that product and selling it, cool, that's awesome. But a popular product or a popular niche is being able to personalize things, and that's the cool thing about the laser is, like, you can have well, for instance, the ornaments that you create 3 different designs, and you've set up your file where all you have to do is change the people's names in it. So, like, we did an ornament with snowflakes, and it had this ribbon inside of it where we were able to take the names out and put them on there. Up to 6 names, whatever you want to do. And so usually it's like, okay, we're gonna put a whole family, on there, or dogs. That's another niche. Make stuff for people that have dogs, because people will buy crazy stuff, and some of those people that are crazy will spend more money on their dog than they do their children. And if they don't have kids and they have dogs, I mean, hey, there's all walks of life. Nothing against that. Shoot, yeah. So market towards people are going to buy regardless, regardless of season. Like, if you're one track minded, you're just going to make one thing, that might be a little difficult, but not saying it can't be done. Because expanding your product line is going to keep people interested. You're going to keep people coming back. If you're just making one thing, then, well, if I go to your website and all you have is that one thing, and I've gone back and I've gone back and I've gone back, and you still just have that one thing, the likelihood of me coming back is very slim. Expand your product line. Like, it's not that hard. If you want to stay with woodworking, that's fine, or if you want to stay with leather, that's fine. But if you're doing leather work, you can only make so many wallets. Like, okay, great, you know how to make a wallet. What else can you make? Can you make some keychains for everyday carry items? Filled notebook cover. There's other things to make. You don't have to go crazy. Just offer a little bit extra and make them different. Make your items slightly different than others. But at the same time, it doesn't hurt to ride some trends. The cool thing about leather is, like, you see all these other leather craftsmen and women that they will use a certain type of leather. Hop on that for a bit. Nothing wrong with that. Or maybe you're the one that sets the trend. Maybe you're like, hey, there's this new leather and I'm going to try it. But if you're getting into the CO2 laser stuff to make money, you got to know what you're going to make, and then you have to know how you're going to distribute that information, those products. Your own website, Etsy, the TikTok shop, stuff like that. You have to know how to do search engine optimization. How are you going to explain to people that this is a hat, it has a leather patch, and it says this, this, and this, so people can find it? And I'm still learning a lot of that. Like, it's still hard to create a product and think, okay, well, that's how I would search for it, because, well, that's how I think about it when I make it. When in fact, sometimes the creator of the item is not going to use the same terminology that the end user is going to use. So like the other day, for instance, this is kind of off subject as far as products go, but I did a video on setting up Lightburn for people setting up Lightburn for their laser. And in my head, I'm like, okay, you got to connect Lightburn to your laser. And so I'm like, I'm doing the title, I'm doing all the description. And I'm like, how to connect your laser to Lightburn and everything. And I'm like, well, is that really what people are searching for? And they're like, let's try something different. Let's try setup. So really think about how you word things so that the general public understands what you're trying to do. So what you're trying to make. And if it doesn't work, you might have to change the wording a little bit. For your advertisement, on social media, your website, Facebook Marketplace, all, like, wherever you end up making stuff. So, hey Dan, how's it going? Yeah, I know I took a long break, probably a little too long. Yeah, work and life got in the way, in a good way. Stayed busy, but yeah, I need to get back in the swing of things. So life is more important. Yes, yeah. No, I agree, and I think the main thing was, like, if I don't work on this and try to build this, then eventually the 9 to 5 kind of gets old, and it's like, well, I don't want to do that forever. And my job offers a fairly decent retirement, but I won't be old enough to fully retire, so I gotta find something to do afterwards. Got your second account back up to my friend. Okay, cool. No, man, I've been trying to get things going, and it's slowly going. Once I realized what I wanted to do, is getting this page up to the 10,000, just so that, just like everybody else, the creator fund, and everything. So between doing that and YouTube and getting that up and going, which we're not too terribly far from being able to monetize on YouTube, but yeah, it's I'm just trying to do what I can, I guess, to make some money through these programs. Like, the more I thought about it, as much as I like making stuff and selling stuff, I really enjoy just teaching people. And I don't know if you follow that mom with the laser, but like her model is kind of what I want to kind of get into, as far as the courses that help people, and maybe like digital products and stuff, because I've done graphic design for, I don't know, 20-25 years, give or take. I mean, a while. So like, I know the programs. It's just I'm always thinking, well, I have to make like a physical product, and instead I can just make a digital product, make it once. And even though like the digital product's like, you know, say $2, like, well, you know, you only have to make it once, and it just sits there. It's evergreen. It's been a tough year for creators. I'm sitting at 1,300. It was easy to get to 1,000. Yeah. There were certain things like I go back and got a lot of views and a lot of followers on certain videos. So I'm kind of going back doing a revised video on them and trying to get that to kind of bring some new followers. But I've noticed that I get a ton of likes, but the conversion on followers is low. Lee, can you use CO2 laser for stippling? I don't know. Let's see. Just on the polymer, right? I'm not sure. Okay. Let's see. I personally haven't done it. Let's see. It looks like the best engraver for stippling for gun texture, they're suggesting a fiber laser. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking this, yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I don't know if I'd go with the CO2 laser. Yeah, I wish I could tell you more, Lee. I just don't know enough about that area, but I really think your best bet is a fiber laser on that. Yeah, man, I'm sorry couldn't help you more on that one. But yeah, good luck in your journey on that one for sure. But yeah, that mom with the laser, she, you know, we talked a couple times, and I just wasn't really where I needed to be as far as what I was doing to actually collab with her. We talked about it, but hopefully I can get things going and get do a collab with her. I'd really like to do something with her, but very knowledgeable. But I have the Omtech laser. It's like, why not show people, you know, as much as I know, you know, it may not be a whole lot, but I kind of feel that over, I don't know, the last, it'll be 4 years in November. So I figured 4 years of messing with the laser, doing anything from like acrylic to the leather, some wood. Like, I have kind of a general idea of what I could build a course around, if that makes sense. The main thing is, like, I see, like, I don't want to just straight out copy that mom with the laser. I just like you said, I like the business model as far as the course goes, digital products. I really think digital products are where it's at. But she does like an enrollment. So it might be like $500 to enroll in her course, and it's all like pre-recorded course, which I think that's a smart thing to do. You know, I just don't have the time to do live courses, but a pre-recorded class would be more my style also. But it's like, what's going to be better? A one-time, dollar amount for a course, or a monthly membership, say like, $14.99 and unlimited access, and I'm always building a library of videos to help people, like trying to figure out what would work best. And I may just have to start with one and see how it goes and change it down the road. I don't know. You've been doing more woodworking than laser. I miss the woodworking for sure. I really do. Especially the router CNC that I had, the table saw. I mean, everything. Like, I really enjoyed it, but I just don't have the space. Like, I got to a point where I was picking up jobs, and what would happen is I'd have stuff that needed to be clear coated, and then I realized that, well, crap, while that's being, or curing and drying, I can't cut anything. I can't do anything else. So very limited to the stuff that I was able to do. But I guess technically if you're doing laser stuff and painting, like, you would, have to kind of fight that too. But, a lot of the stuff I don't really paint. I still like the leather. But hand stitching, I just don't have the time. Like, I feel like I can do so much more on the laser than sitting down and stitching a wallet. But God, anybody that does leather work and stitches wallets and stitches stuff, it's so therapeutic. I just didn't make money doing it, or profit rather. Whereas, like, the laser, I can cut out keychains and say they're $15-20 a piece. Well, shoot, I can make 10 of them in like 5 minutes. And there you go, $100 in 5 minutes. Of course, taxes, profit, profit margin, all that good stuff. It's not exactly 100, but I can make more money doing that. But like I said, I really kind of want to look at digital products and what I can offer there. But no, I just enjoy creating stuff, and I think for me, it's like I really struggle with making up my mind. is the best way to put it. I can't just focus on one thing. Hence the heat press. I'm like, hey, I'll try making some leather hats. And like, I've gotten to the point where if I can make enough money to generate enough, or if I can make enough products to generate enough money to support the video. So if someone is paying me, where basically I'm not making any money, but I can get a video out of it, to kind of bring that up, then I'm happy with it. And a lot of it's friends and family and stuff like that. And I'm like, hey, pay for the material, and a little bit extra, buy me a cup of coffee type thing. And I'm fine with that. I really am. Until I can get things going. Cause like I said, I'm really not set on creating a physical product. I really want to do the digital stuff, but I want to show people how to make the physical products, because I've done it. I know how to do it, so I might as well show it. Like here, I'm doing leather patches, and I need to do a video on it, but so I put that on there, just doing a test on certain settings, and try to take it off with some needle nose pliers and couldn't. So at least that's a good sign, you know, so getting somewhere on it. But Oakwood Branding, how's it going? Let's see, there's a Magical Memories, what hat press you got back there? It's the Vivor hat press. It was like $115 on Amazon. It's nothing special. You're going to have to modify it a little bit to work for certain hats, like this one. Don't mind the patch that I try to rip off with needle nose pliers. But when you set it and you have any type of void or give, it'll screw up your hat. So you have to put like foam and kind of layer it up so that that it doesn't have any empty space, any void between the I think it's called platen. I might have that wrong. At the base, you know, and your hat. But looking at some of the other ones, if you looked into hat presses, Lone Star just came out with one. I think it's like $1,000, or you can get the Stalls something 360 for $1,800, $1,900, and I was told that I'm not in the hat making business, so don't spend $2,000 on it. And then I was like, well, for $2,000 I can buy a sewing machine and I can just sew the patches on. And then I was also reminded that I'm not in the hat business again. Sad. Yeah, for a beginner, definitely go with it. There's that one, and I kind of made a mistake on this one, and I'll tell you why. So this one right here only comes with that one blue base right there. I gotta look it up. It is called a platen, right? Yeah, heat press platen. Make sure I'm not telling y'all wrong. But yeah, it only comes with one. And I want to say there's another option. Let's look it up real quick. Because there's another option that had like 3 different sizes on it. Yeah, so they have one that has the 3 different sizes for $160. And that one was $130. So $30 more, and you can get the other 2. They're different sizes. Yes, that's the other thing. I try to find more reviews on the orange one. Yes, it's automatic, and it seems cool and all that stuff. And I think the only reason I didn't go with that one, to be honest with you, was that just because it's automatic, yeah, it might help, but it still only had the heat being applied from the top, unlike some of the more expensive ones where the heat is being applied from the top. I don't think you could go wrong with either one. Let's see. Check out, let me find them real quick. let's see if I can find this guy for you to take a look at. Look up on YouTube laser engraving with Matt, and he has that heat press, and I've followed for years, and he has a laser engraving business, and I trust his opinion on everything, because you know he's a small business, he's a creator. You know, I trust his opinion. But yeah, either one. I want to say even that one he had to modify the platen on it, so I don't think you can really get away from that. But yeah, anybody getting into CO2 lasers, a lot of opportunity for hobbyists, a side hustle, a business. I want to say a lot of these companies do a lot more or a lot better financing if you have where you can stretch it out, but some of these offer financing, so a lot of options. But man, if you hustle, even as just a side hustle, man, you can pay these off in just a few months, especially if you do it around the Christmas. People are always paying premium for customized Christmas related items. So signage, made some wedding signs, and it doesn't even have to be wedding. You can do these during Christmas, where you do a wood sign and it has the their last name on it. So a lot of different things that you can make for sure. But so many different things. You just have to get at it. X-Tool D1 and F1 saving to get a CO2 laser, probably 60 watt. Yeah, I've looked at X-Tool. They have some cool stuff. Saving up to get a CO2 laser, it's a game changer, especially if you're already into lasers and whatnot. Me personally though, so like for instance, that's one, I don't know when you joined about the regretting kind of not getting a 80 watt or higher. So the 60 watt laser tubes, and this is for Ometech, I can't really say for other companies, but the 60 watt laser tube, the projected hours that it can run, it's the life expectancy rather, is shorter, quite a bit shorter on a 60 watt than a 80 watt. And for the machine by itself, for a 60 watt autofocus 20 by 28 machine is $3,200. And let's see, what an 80 watt cost. I already forgot what I said. $3,200 for the 60 watt. $37 for the 80 watt. That's if you get the autofocus. I have autofocus, and I'll be honest with you, I don't even use it. The only reason I use the autofocus, excuse me, the only reason I use the autofocus is because it has the stepper motors so that you can raise and lower the bed. It's the only reason. So literally you could get a 60 watt autofocus for $3,200, or you can get a 80 watt manual focus, same size, cutting area, for $3,200. So yeah, because I've done a video on my channel, links in the description or bio or whatever. Is autofocus worth the extra $500? You can go watch the video, but short answer is it really isn't. I mean, I don't think it is, because that's all you're paying for, is for that autofocus to hit the material and to adjust it. And if you're doing different types of material, it's really not worth it. The other thing is you might want to defocus here and there depending on the material. So, all right, Magical Memory, yeah, man, have a good one. Yeah, check them out. So, yeah, that's the other thing is the features that y'all want when purchasing a CO2 laser: autofocus, manual focus. Do you want to have the work area to be large enough for a rotary tool? Those are things that you gotta be prepared for, because if you get a shallow machine, it may not accept a rotary if you're wanting to do tumblers. I bought one and I use it a handful of times, but me personally, people that are looking to do tumblers and other items, like cut signs, are almost better off getting two lasers. And I know that sounds crazy, but the time that it takes to set up and go back and forth, it gets old. So just know that if you're trying to do both, having one machine set up for tumblers and another one for flat items probably benefit you. So well, guys, I appreciate everyone joining today. Hope you guys got some good information on it. I'm going to jump off, and I hope we see y'all in the next live stream. Y'all have a good one, guys.